I could put you in the brig for what you've done, but I won't do it.
Talking Dicks Comedy Podcast. Back again. This is a spinoff of the web series, The Two Dicks. I'm Al Romas, Tampa, Florida. And that character right there is Al Ducharme, Studio City, California. Good afternoon, Alfred.
Good afternoon.
Oh, no. What happened? Are you spent from episode volume 100? You used up all your energy?
I have to speak to my lawyer.
Tell him to go fuck himself.
I don't like this character at all.
It was our 100th volume or episode, and I brought some extra energy to it to make it a special time, and I was reprimanded by my partner not to bring that much energy.
I doubt I reprimanded. I questioned it. I thought it was excessive. That's not a reprimand. That's a question. I said, "Wow, you had a lot of energy."
That's a statement, not a question.
Wow, I don't care for this.
It was special.
I don't like this bit. I gotta work too hard at this bit.
All right, okay. You don't like hauling the whole damn thing by yourself, do you?
No. I'm not.
All right, let's.
I'm not some egomaniac who talks for an hour plus every week. That's ridiculous. I don't know. You know what I mean? I like to share the wealth. I like to share the wealth.
Spread it out.
Spread it like a
crop duster. You like
herpes.
Herpes.
Is that still
you're
around?
You're like a crop duster with the herpes virus, and you spread it all over the crops.
Yeah, I'll go with that reference or analogy, if you will. Is herpes still a thing? We don't care, do we, anymore? Herpes. We got COVID. We got anal. We got a lot of stuff. We don't need herpes. Nobody gives a shit about. That's an easy one.
That's controllable. But
although
there's genital, and then there's oral. Is it oral or?
I don't think it's called oral.
Some people get them on their face.
But we don't care about it. But if you met somebody, you know, girl, boy, if whoever we're talking about, me or you or somebody, you met somebody, and it was a dating scenario, and they said we have herpes. Mm-hmm. You go forward with that, or you out?
I've crossed that bridge in my youth. And
the bridge of sighs.
I was in my 20s. I put on a condom, and took their word for it that they did not have an outbreak. So there you go.
Yeah, we were a horny young man. You didn't care.
I was a horny young man. What? I had a condom. I cared that much.
Yeah, but you could. What about the lips? If you kiss somebody and then lip to lip, and then thing knows and your lips are breaking out.
Oh, I don't kiss anybody with a blister. Oh, I actually get the. It lies dormant in your spine. You know that, right? I actually get the fever blister when I'm stressed out on my lip.
That's what you say.
You know what it is when you sucked a couple of cocks. It's not a big deal.
Thank you. That's all I'm going for. Why did that take 4 minutes? Let's just get it on the record, Judge.
I can see you're on your wonky Wi-Fi again because you're out on your porch. It's lovely scenery, but your Wi-Fi is wonky. Are you on the 2.4 gigahertz?
I'll be honest with you. I didn't look. Well, I didn't even check. I turned the phone on and came outside.
You turned to the robot voice, like Weekend or Cher from her song from 25 years ago. Do you believe in life after love? Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you get the oh, you're pretending. Look at you doing a little pantomime that you're frozen. See, people, if they were at the Patreon page, if you were a supporter on the Patreon page for
Patreon.com/the Two Dicks,
you would see Al taking on the role of being animated by not being animated.
Acting genius. Remember that from SNL?
Laurence Olivier. Yes, I do remember.
John Lovitz and John Lithgow.
Yes.
When they had funny hosts, they would not just current pop culture people, but talented actors who could bring it. Mm-hmm. And Lithgow, he was master thespian. That was Lovitz. Acting genius. Two worst actors in the world. Yeah. When does this episode air, by the way? What is this, Monday? Are we airing right now?
We're on right now. We're actually on right at this very moment.
It's Monday. I will be performing a live standing-up comedy this week at Bassani's, Port Charlotte, Florida, Wednesday night.
I love the Comedy Castle, Vasani's. Do they still call it the Comedy Castle?
That's a different club, sir. That's in Detroit.
What do they call that? It's Vasani's what?
It's Vasani's restaurant and comedy club, and it just happens to look like a castle. They don't mention the castle. Yeah.
They don't mention the castle?
No, I mention it a lot on stage. I call the big castle on the King's Highway. And, I make fun of it.
I remember that.
They
I was there. I was there with you 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago.
The Two Dicks. That was fun, man. We played a couple of our videos, and the crowd watched our videos before we went up and did our shtick. And that was a lot of fun.
We had a photo shoot in a 1955 convertible, Chevy convertible.
That's right. Our buddy Dr. Joe brought it down. That's what he travels in, and we got some good pictures and that. And then we flew to, was it Boston? I think the next day or the day after. We went to Boston. Mm-hmm. Is my timeline right here?
I think so. Somewhere around there. I think we did.
Yeah.
We went to Giggles, and we shot Turf War Dicks with Johnny Peasy and Artie Januario and Frank Santarelli. And then we did 2 nights or 3 nights at Giggles, Mike Clark's Giggles.
I think we did Friday, Saturday. That was Lenny Clark was. I mean, that was like, those shows are ridiculous, because it's like you and I come from out of town, to work that weekend, and then a club like that has Lenny Clark, and then Joe Yanetti's doing a guest set, or Justin McKinney's doing a guest set. It's like, holy God, what's going to happen?
Well, first of all, when word gets out that the Talking Dicks, the Two Dicks, are in town, people want to rub up against us.
They want to hang. They want to. They do want to rub up and yeah.
Rub out.
I wasn't going to go there. Blue. But it's one of those. It's just one of those clubs where I've never been. My first time there. I'm just sitting in the corner going, well, what the hell, man? They don't even need us. I mean, this is a fucking show right here. But then the crowd's good, and it's a better show, I guess, or more of a show. So
those guys, because of the proximity, those guys are used to doing 2 or 3 shows a night, just kind of like whipping around, 20-minute drives here and there. And if they just have the one show, and then they get word that somebody they want to hang with is there or not, and possibly do a guest set, they come on down. And, that was fun though. That was like that felt like real comedy, doing Vasani's, then shooting an episode the next day, and then flying to Boston and doing stand up, and then shooting all day, and then doing stand up again and shooting all day. I mean, that was fun, and then knocked it out. We had a couple episodes. We'd done some standing up comedy, and and then a few months later, it was all over. That was it. Done. That's it. It was done. But we're back somewhat. Well, Florida, Florida hasn't really. It's not Texas, but it's still, It's Florida. Whereas Tom Cotter would say, I'm paraphrasing here, Florida is shaped like a penis, and it looks like it's pissing on Cuba.
Yes. There you go.
Because of the keys that drip off the tip.
Yeah, Tom works blue. I don't care. Not a fan. But
Tom, I just did a Zoom with him. He and his family were ravaged by COVID. Thank goodness they're on the mend now. They just turned the corner in the last 48 hours. But they say that one of the boys, 18-year-old boys, brought it home and passed it on to everybody. And the kids had mild cases. And there it is. He's got it. And the adults it was a little bit more serious. And I was concerned, but they kept it to themselves. And then he just mentioned it publicly on a Zoom. So that's the only reason I'm mentioning it. If it was in secret, I wouldn't have said anything.
Wow. Yeah, he's been working a lot. You see him, he's been performing and going places and doing it. But
I'm surprised he hasn't gotten it already. He's Southern Florida, a lot of travel. And, they have the teenage boys, 3 of them. So I figured
Did he get the vaccine now since? Or
he had to cancel his vaccine appointment because he tested positive for COVID.
Oh, bummer.
But now I think they have 3 months where they're saying the data they have, they can't get it again for at least 90 days. And they have to wait until they get their vaccines.
Oh, okay. I don't know the new data. I don't follow it that close.
How are you, by the way? The last couple, because you got the J&J, you got Johnson in your keister, and
I did, and I'm delightful, as always.
I'm just going to tell you right now.
I don't care
On the 100th episode, and perhaps the previous one, we did it indoors where you had air conditioning.
Right.
And you had a little sweat going on your top lip, and I was like, he has side effects.
Well, I didn't put the air conditioning on. Trying to save a few pennies, so it was a little warm in there. I'm fine, thank you. And
okay, you did have some side effects though, but they went away a day later.
Yeah, I had sore arm for about a day, and I thought I was getting sick the night of the shot. I felt like, oh, I'm going to get sick, and then I went to sleep, and then I felt okay in the morning. So,
but when you say you felt that you were going to get sick, you mean side effects sick, or you thought you actually had COVID?
No, I felt like I was catching a cold, which was like a side effect. You know,
there are no colds. There's no colds or flu right now.
Run down. No, and well, there's nothing.
It's really just nothing. COVID. There's no heart attacks. There's no automobile accidents. It's just all deaths are COVID-19.
You want to see some nutty shit, by the way? I was watching Jim Brewer. Jim has, left us, by the way. Old Jim, who's an old friend of mine and maybe yours, but he's gone another way. He was on Rogan's pod, and Jim's got some theories going on about COVID and yeah.
Well, we're gonna have some guests that are gonna touch upon that as well. And I want to hear that stuff. And good for Rogan for having everybody on instead of going one way. There was a little controversy there about him having people who are conspiracy theorists on the right versus left and blah, blah, blah. And people going, you can't have them on. He's like, dude, this is an open platform. I'll have whoever I want on. And if someone has something interesting to say, I'm all ears. So there you go.
Yeah, Jim definitely is out there with it. But, we have a guest coming up. I think he's kind of in the same boat, if you will. Mm-hmm. And that'll be fun. We have a couple good guests coming up, actually. Very good, veteran killer comics.
I don't want to talk about any of them. And this is what I was telling when I'm going to drop a name. Bill Burr was on our program just a few episodes ago. And he does most of his podcasts solo because of coordination with guests, his busy schedule, and whatnot. Whereas Rogan is stationary. People come to him because he's the number one podcast. Whereas Bill is always on the move, So, and he's kind of as he told us and admitted to us that he's a bit of a loner.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But he likes being a guest on other shows.
Yeah. No, I get it. I mean, it's hard to coordinate sometimes. It's nice if they could come to you. I haven't even seen you in person since we started the podcast, and we've had 100.
You seem pretty happy about it.
No, so I was talking to somebody recently about the podcast. It was somebody, and they were asking me how it started and all that. And then I go, well, it only started because of COVID, and we were going to film, and we had a gig down here, and we were going to film, and that was literally like it was a week after. I think it was you were come down here like March 22nd of 2020, and to film, and we had a little gig set up. And I go, I haven't even seen the guy in person. No, the person was asking me, is it difficult to do it like this without seeing him? I go, well, I see him. If you look at Patreon, we can see each other, but it is a little different, I guess, but I don't know if it's more difficult. Are we going to,
when the pandemic is over, are we going to do the podcast in person when we can?
Well, I think that would be fun to do if we could shoot an episode. Maybe when I go to Vegas, maybe we could do that. I'll be in Vegas.
That's the plan.
Vegas, baby. May. I'm going to the Tropicana.
My old stomping grounds. I used to work there 4 times a year. 4 times a year.
I did too, and I never worked with you at the Comedy Stop. And I did it at least.
That was odd. I did it for a decade. I probably did it 40 times.
At least, yes. I do Laughlin. Right? Go down to Laughlin.
Did you have it in your contract that you wouldn't work with me?
I did. I'm sorry. I didn't want to bring it up right now. I did.
Do you have any gossip? I got nothing. I spent it all on the 100th episode, which you can see on patreon.com/.
Well, I'll be in Vegas in May, so Laugh Factory, if anyone listens and goes to Vegas and lives in Vegas.
Right on. I was promoting us, and you stomped right on it with your
Come see me there. And what about cruises opening? That's interesting, huh?
I hear June for Royal Caribbean Celebrity, which owns Celebrity. And I heard the Asmara and the high-end crystals and all that. They already booked out for 2022.
Yeah. Well, Royal right now, it's one ship, the Adventure, and it's going to be home ported in Nassau.
Yep.
We're looking at, and it's going to be a kind of a interesting cruise in the sense that the passenger can't get off the ship unless you're on an excursion. If you're not on an excursion, you're not leaving the ship. Because they're going to control everybody. Wow. So they're not going to let you. So if you or I were on it as the comic, and we don't do excursions, we're not leaving the ship. Because they're not trusting you.
Yeah, the only time I've done an excursion is if I had a guest with me, whether it was my wife or my sister.
Hooker?
Or a hooker. Or something I really wanted to do, and they let me do it for free if I kind of pretended I was a chaperone.
I see.
He said, "You really don't have to pretend. You don't have to do it. You just here's a clipboard. Walk on, and put the clipboard down, and do whatever you want." I'm like, "Okay."
Right. Well, I just saw. I mean,
it was $120, $160. You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll take this gig in a minute. I'll be happy to do it, but it sucks in a way. Like it goes to Cozumel, and you can't get off and have lunch and go to have a stick or something. You're gonna stay on the ship.
You can't. We can't. Cozumel, one of my favorite ports. We can't go to the cigar shop
unless you're in an
Cozumel's.
excursion.
How do they make money off the excursions?
Who?
The
Cozumel?
Ports, yeah.
Yeah. Well, for the time being, it's going to be very limited. Just excursion, because they can't trust you or I go to the cigar bar, shake hands with whatever that guy's name was, and he's got COVID, and then we bring it back to the ship.
Okay, do you know that you see the flaws? You see the flaws, right? You see that if we get
there's about 16 of them, 16 floors.
An excursion, and they take us to their places, we have to trust all the employees that are working in the Caribbean.
Right. Yeah. But everybody's vaccinated. I don't understand why you have to be vaccinated to get on the ship, passengers and crew. So, why can't we if I'm vaccinated right now, why can't I get off and have lunch and a cigar?
I agree. I think it's they're trying to make up some revenue for the lost year.
And I don't think it'll last long. I think once it starts, it'll go, and then they'll open more ships, and then they'll be back to normal.
Yeah, I think the cruise lines just want to get in, satisfy the CDC. I'll tell you what, Bahamas, man, wow, they can be Nassau, they can be dicks to the
they can be. They are.
Entertainers,
they are.
Man. If they say, "Do you have a show tonight?" as you're boarding the ship, and you say, "I don't know what the schedule is." Well, we're going to charge you whatever, $400 or $400.
I think it was $400. I think it was $400. Yeah.
I'm like, what? Yeah, you got to prove that you're not performing. So then the cruise directors and the stage managers had to start emailing us a schedule. Basically, it could have been a made-up schedule. It just said you were not performing until Wednesday at sea.
Or
and I'm like, why?
Night,
that is a dumb. Why do this?
Right.
The
night
cruise
at
lines,
sea, but you couldn't be. Yeah. You couldn't be tied up to Nassau doing a show.
Tens of millions of dollars the cruise lines bring to the Nassau government, and who
is there a government there?
No.
Was there really a government?
It's a banana republic, for crying out loud.
Nassau. It's a flea market. What do you call it? What is that outdoor thing they have?
Hay market, straw
was it straw? Market. I think so. Yeah. We shot our first video there. I think we were in Nassau.
A Tale of Two Owls.
That's right.
During the hurricane.
That's right. Hurricane, would that be
Maria?
Irma?
Was it Irma? It was Irma, because I
don't remember.
Hurricane Maria, I was actually on a ship, and the comedians that were stranded on, they had to stay an extra 3 or 4 days. Everybody had to stay on because of the hurricane, and then I ended up jumping on in the middle somewhere. and they had seen these two comics for 10 days over and over and over. So I was fresh meat. They put me in the theater. It was 1,500 seats on one of the big ships. And I was the Messiah.
I heard.
I could do no wrong. I did
heard
10.
that story.
I did 10 minutes in 45.
The week I got on the ship, or the day I got on, it was later. I heard that story from you 400 times. Every time you had a beer, you told me how you were in the theater.
It was one of the highlights of my cruise line career.
Did I tell you I was in the theater?
Dude, how many times do I tell you I bombed? I'm not afraid to say I bombed or it didn't go over or a new joke tanked. So I got that one thing where they thought I was a golden god. And I like bringing it up once in a while.
Okay. It's good for the pod, but I'm just saying, on the ship that week, I was like, is he going to tell me this fucking story again? Holy shit.
I was enjoying it. And I stare at you like I'm really interested when you start going on and on about some fucking cigar leaf that was hand rolled by the princess of...
That's an especially good one, actually. She's very talented and respected. And
she didn't use her hands.
Let's not get into that. It's a little blue, and I don't care for it. Like your buddy Cotter. You know what I'm saying? Hope he gets well. Get well, Tom, and the family. That sucks, but you know.
Yeah, they
on the end.
Of course, I asked them. I go, "Were you fearful of having to go to the hospital?" And they immediately said, "No." I said, "Were you scared at all? Concerned?" They said, "No." But then they told me all their symptoms. I'm like, I would have been freaking out.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, so I thought they were fibbing a little bit, but they were just trying to show face and whatever.
I get it.
And I love and adore them, and I was actually concerned about it. You know?
Sure.
And they, you know, they have reputations, and they want to be able to work. And
not a good one. It's not a good one. I'll tell you that.
Not with you.
No, it's really.
But I'm thinking, this many minutes into our podcast, no one's going to hear it. So.
We have our faithful. The faithful.
We
hang,
do. No, they do. They listen
the
to the
faithful. Hang
well, they're not.
there.
These are not 90-minute podcasts. They're 20-ish.
Yeah, which is again, I think, just the right amount. Just when you get sick of us and go, fuck this, we're done. You hear Kenny Moore bang somebody over the head with a guitar, and it's over.
That's right. But we're not going to end it right there because I do have to ask you, what's going on? You haven't been drinking. You lost 18 or 20 pounds. You've been watching your intake of food, I guess.
Yes.
You got back out into the dating scene. But you look a little disheveled today. You look like you went out last night. Talk to me. Did you?
No, I did not go out. You know what? I just walked the dog about 5 minutes, 10 minutes before we sat down to do this. So maybe that's the disheveled look you're speaking of. I haven't shaved in a couple of days.
I'm thinking marathon of porn is what I'm thinking.
I wouldn't call it a marathon. It's a little more than usual, I'll be honest, and getting into some unique categories. But but no, not disheveled. I have not been out. I haven't. I've actually been very. I think I was asleep last night, probably by goddamn 11:30 p.m. You know what I mean? But I'm working Wednesday night. I'm excited. I may. Who knows what will happen? Maybe I'll go down to Havana Tranquility afterwards. Maybe I'll see some of the boys and have a cocktail and a cigar. And but Visani's Port Charlotte Wednesday night. If you're in the area, come on out. Why not?
Are you overnighting?
One show. That's it.
Oh, you're gonna drive back?
No, I'm gonna stay at the. They have a nice hotel now. Not the place we stayed. It's
Why
much
is that?
nicer.
Because they were putting two of us up? It wasn't bad. It was just Hampton Inn, run-of-the-mill. Maybe even
no, he changed it. He just changed it in the last year or so, and it's closer. I mean, it's in Punta Gorda, so you go over the bridge near. It's actually near Havana Tranquility, but it's the Wyvern, and very nice place with a rooftop bar and all nice setup.
You ever do one of those comedy clubs where they have a deal with the hotel? They said, okay, I get 3 nights or 4 nights comped for the comedy comedians, and it's like right next to the club. And then new management comes in or something. There's a falling out, and then all of a sudden you're at the fucking, Holiday Inn Express 5 miles away. Why does that happen?
Have I ever? I mean, that's like every time you go back to a club that happens.
I remember we were staying in like a Hyatt Regency across the parking lot from the comedy club. It was unbelievable, and it was like, wow, this is great. They got the facilities, unbelievable. You come back, what happened? Either a comedian had a blowout with the manager, or the club owner fucking did coke off the hotel manager's wife's ass. Something happened. Yeah. And it's gone. And then all of a sudden we're driving 5 miles to that fucking club that we were walking to.
I think when they open, a lot of clubs go, we got to treat these guys great. They're the comedians. And then 6 months, a year go by and they realize, I don't have to treat these guys well at all. Fuck them. And then they just throw you in some dump, 10 miles away, or they buy a condo. But I used to stay like the Omni in Richmond, Virginia. I'm like, holy shit, this is beautiful. And then they go back the next time and it's a 2-bedroom house. You know what I mean? Where the headliner is in the bedroom with the door closed and the phone. Ugh. And you have a bedroom and you just sit there without a car and go, this is fucking horrible.
It's horrible.
What happened to the Omni? Yeah, it is. People don't know. They don't have to know. But really, no other business would treat their the employee or the person who's really responsible for bringing in the revenue that way. I mean, if people could see 2 or 3 comics sitting in an old house at 3 p.m. waiting to go on, you know what I mean? They would like blow their mind. They think you're in some 5-star hotel in a suite. And the poor guy's sitting, on a broken down couch. Usually the furniture's from the guy's house. He was going to throw it out anyway, so he throws it in the condo. Then he goes and buys new furniture.
I've done gigs where I was dying to get in. It's a great gig. You got to do the gig. And I get there, and the hotel is shit. It's like a Red Roof Inn with fucking junkies in the fucking hallway. And I just turn around, get in my car, and I go check in to a decent hotel. Yeah. And try to use points or miles, and those motherfuckers, sometimes they go, how was the Red Roof Inn? I'm like, I didn't stay there. It was horrible. The couple next door were fighting. There were cops were there. You ever have the cops going through the hallways with their walkie-talkies because there's a big fucking blowout?
I was staying at some no-name hotel, Virginia Beach, working the Thorogood Inn, and it was some no-name. That's how bad it was. It was just one of those, motel or something. And I had a flight the next morning early, so I thought, I'll just stay up. I'm watching TV. It's 3 a.m. I hear boom, 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 boom on my door, like so loud. I open the door, and there's blood just on the door, and there's no one there. There's nobody there. Oh, my God. And within 5 minutes, police come from every angle. They start running up I'm on the second floor. They run. Oh no, I was on the first floor. They run up. They run into it. They look through my room. They go out and they start heading to the woods. The woods is right behind the parking lot. Mm-hmm. I go, what the hell? What happened? And they go, oh, there was a fight. A guy got stabbed, and that's the guy who ran into your door. He's bleeding to death, and he's in the woods now, dying. I'm like, this is the hotel. I'm the headliner.
Holy shit.
Fucking Thorogood. This is the hotel, and that was my last time at the Thorogood Inn.
I had my last time at the Thorogood Inn as well.
That was their choice.
The changeover from owners. The guy books me in for a certain amount of money. The new owner comes in, and he's also the cook, and he's trying to sling 100 meals out because it's dinner and a comedy show. Mm-hmm. And second to last show, they go, come in and do your paperwork. So I come in, and I go, oh, the money is not. This is not what we agreed upon. What are you talking about? That's what we pay. I go, my deal was with the previous owner, and it was X amount more. And he goes, well, that's what we're paying. I'm like, oh, come on, don't be like that. Don't be like that. I go, dude, we got one more show to go. He goes, oh, yeah? And he fucking gets on the phone, and he has 2 local comedians come over to fill in for me. I'm like, why would you do that? I go, I'm in the kitchen. I'm trying to feed these people. I'm like, I go, work with me here.
So they did the show, the 2
So the
locals?
guy called the previous owner, put him on speakerphone. Yeah, Al Ducharme's here. He goes, well, yeah, he was like the last guy I booked, and that was the agreement. I said, All right, enough is enough. I said, split the difference with me. I said, give me half of the money, and let it go. And that was it.
So did you do the last show, or did the?
I did the last show, and those guys just stood in the wings, all pissed off like this, because they wanted to make their $50 or whatever it was for saving the day.
Yeah. Wow, that's yeah, it was a good club in the day, but then again, it's kind of where I started. So was it a good club? I don't know. I look back at
great crowd. My sister lived 45 minutes away. Every time I'd go visit her, she goes, another club opened up. There's one over here. It's only 45. So it was like, okay. So
right.
I started grabbing those. They weren't great paying, but I'm visiting.
Right.
So
right.
Go in for 2 nights. And
I started there as a MC once a month. It was great. Worked with really good comics come down from New York. Mm-hmm. But then I started doing it it was one of those a quick jump in those days. You could do a bunch of TV and make a quick jump, then I'd come back and headline. But I look back thinking, was it a good club, or was it just my memories of I had good times? Because it was a restaurant with a little stage. I don't know.
That's how I started out.
If I walked in now, would we think, oh, it's a good club? Or would we think?
It's probably a BC club.
Yeah, before Christ. Yep. Yeah, I agree. Before Jesus.
A long time ago, like when this podcast started, a very long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away. How was your pizza, by the way, today? I saw you had a pizza. How was that? Are you doing Are you?
I thought we were ending again. You want to know about? I made it. My wife. I said, "What do you
anytime you want?" I don't
know.
What
she
just
wanted.
keep moving.
She said,
"I got to carry this bitch. I keep moving."
She said she wanted a shrimp scampi pizza.
Uh-huh.
So I've often made my own dough from scratch. 00 flour, it's called.
Homo.
We have a Breville pizza oven, but I want to get one of those. What is it? Uni, a backyard pizza oven.
I don't know, sir. I don't know.
I want one of those, but she's like, why don't you get a job first?
Yeah, it's a good pandemic investment.
Well, I'm just thinking, how many more months are we going to be like kind of semi-lockdown? So
I don't know. Europe's locked down again. I don't know what's going on.
We'll be heading to something like that.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Trying to be positive. Get the vaccine. I'm ready to go back to work.
You look like you're positive.
No. Now you got me freaked out. Maybe it's this light. Hold on. How's that? Better?
Oh, you look 10 times better. You look like Jack LaLanne.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a good
I had a side
right?
light. Throw in some... Yeah, Jack LaLanne. Yeah. I had a side light there. And I would probably
who would be the modern Jack LaLanne? Who would be a modern person?
Richard Simmons.
No, that's 80s.
Okay. Well, I don't think there is any.
Who's the health guru exercise person?
There is none on TV. Now, I mean, on the internet. I don't know. Because Elaine was TV.
Yeah,
Simmons was TV.
Chuck Norris did the Flex. Was it Bowflex or whatever it was? That was in the 90s.
Suzanne Summers had a thing.
That was the squeeze your vagina together. What was that called?
Speaking of which, she's 70, God knows what. Her husband's 80-something. And in today's New York Post is an article how they have sex. She has sex 3 times every day before noon.
Is her husband home?
Every day. Every day. She shoots him up with testosterone, and they go. Every day, 3 times before noon.
Did you notice my head is disappearing? Look.
I've noticed it. I'm not commenting. I figure the patrons can enjoy it. And the people who aren't patrons don't want to hear about it because they've heard about Patreon and they don't give a shit. Even though it's $5 or $10 or $25.
We passed.
What do you think of that, though, Alfred?
What
do you think of that? Suzanne Summers 3 times a day. What do you think of that?
If I were like 10, 15 years older, I'd want a piece of that shit.
70-something.
All right, 25 years older. If I were 25 years older,
Mary. That's
Can
her
we
husband
end
when
this
she's-
fucker? I think we ended it long ago.
All right. Yes.
Pow, we're out.
Done.
I didn't kill my wife. I don't care.
We'll fix it in post, you son of a bitch.
No, really, don't mess with me, because I don't come down to the bus station and slap the dick out of your mouth when you're working, do I? Oh, get on up here, motherfucker. Give me security. I'm sorry, man. The guy fucking came at me. What do you think, folks?
No way.
Okay, show.
All right. Subscribe. Mary.
Go to patreon.com/forward-the-2dicks.
If you shoot me, you won't see a cent of that money. Why?
I think it ends on that. That's beautiful.